Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Sheesh, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to more NECC Rocket League action. Thanks for sticking around. We've got another exciting matchup for you here, this time for the Emergent Division. We have Kansas Wesleyan versus Fresno State Maroon. This should be an interesting matchup. I am still Lars Newt. I'm going to be your color commentator for this matchup, and joining me here in the casting booth is Leachy for your play-by-play. Leachy, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I see you are having as much fun as I am in this setup. But this is an interesting matchup. In the last one, we had common teams from previous matchups between the two teams that were in this matchup, which is not something you'd expect to happen in week 3, that they would have had common teams. And we have that again here. Concordia, Wisconsin has played both of these teams and fallen to both of these teams, but in very dissimilar fashion.
I was just about to get onto that, so thank you for introducing it in such a professional, tight manner. Kansas
Wesleyan. I know where you want to go with that.
I know. It's like we've worked together or something before. It's weird. Kansas Wesleyan, ladies and gentlemen, going up against Fresno State Maroon. Kansas faced off against Concordia, Wisconsin, and beat them in week 2 with a 3-0 sweep. Fresno State Maroon had a slightly tougher time. Concordia, Wisconsin took them all the way to game number 5 during week 1. They still had enough to get the victory, but they had to go that slight extra mile. Now, that is kind of the comparison that we can draw in terms of them having played the same team. With the overall results, Kansas Wesleyan has swept both of their opponents because they also 3-0'd Southern Mississippi too. Fresno State Maroon, all we have to go on is the single match from week 1 because week 2 they had a bye. So right now, looking at the standings, Kansas Wesleyan is in 3rd position and Fresno State Maroon is in 4th, but we don't quite have a complete picture of how these two teams stack up. If we're looking at raw numbers and we're not even taking the bye into account, you'd probably have to give it to Kansas Wesleyan, but I personally am going to hold off on judgment. And Lars, I'm not going to even ask you about it because I know that you hate making predictions. So I promise. Have you?
I have grown. And the other thing is we did get a little bit of insight here on Kansas Wesleyan. So we do have a little bit more data to work from. Kansas Wesleyan is a fairly high-performing team from a higher division in previous seasons, but some mix-ups, some changes has got them now down here at Emergence. So this could be an interesting matchup for Fresno State. They're going to have a tough time going up against this Kansas team that's got so much experience. Is that shakeup that went on in the the preseason, going to be enough to allow Fresno State to take a victory here? I don't think so, honestly. I think Kansas is going to take this one, but we also thought NKU was going to take that last series, and they lost 3-1 to BSU. So anything can happen. We are ready to see anything happen here. Why don't you intro some players for us here, Leachy?
I would love to intro some players. Fresno State Maroon are choosing to play Zone and Plays, great name, Dust 20 and Lunacy, and they will be going up against the roster of Kansas Wesleyan. They have chosen to go with Golden, Diversity, and Brodell. Now, I personally haven't had the pleasure of casting either one of these teams. We're still waiting. I personally am still waiting for them to grace my eyes with what they're capable of. But given the fact that you mentioned before, where Kansas was actually in a significantly higher division than they find themselves in right now, I would probably lean towards Kansas Wesleyan as well, but again, it's like the slightest lean by like 5 degrees because again, I haven't seen enough of either of these teams. It's all been hearsay up till this point. So if anything, I kind of want to believe that Fresno State Maroon has it in them to put I don't know. I don't know if you would call it an upset because, again, we're still very early on in this season. But given past results, I guess you could call it an upset if Fresno State Maroon wound up taking the win against Kansas Wesleyan. I'm itching to find out because I don't know enough teams, and it's killing me.
Yeah, the big note here is, like I said, we had the mid-season, excuse me, the preseason mix-up. We dropped a player off of Kansas Wesleyan. They didn't have a great performance in the play-ins. So, yes, we do have some kind of empirical data to say, hey, Kansas probably has an advantage here. But I'm also a sucker for an underdog, and we have seen people be upset. We have seen people, all kinds of craziness happen. And like you said, we don't have a lot of data points to run off of. This is very, very early in the season. One of these teams had a bye week, so we don't get a lot to compare with. We don't get a lot to see. And this also being the emergence division, you could see all kinds of craziness. Good day, bad day, whatever's going on. A player happens to pop off this week. Whatever happens, really the only way to find out, you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again, who is going to come out the victor is to put the players on the field just like this. Put 5 minutes on that clock and let them duke it out.
Let them duke it out. We shall, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting game number 1 underway. KWU going up against FSU Maroon. Maroon, that was the weirdest way I possibly could have pronounced that, but we're going to brush right past it. Zonum going for an early shot. It is slightly wide. Brodell off this sidewall gets it. A weird doink off at the top of Lunacy is dead. Zonum patiently waiting again. Diversity coming in. Not putting too much of a productive touch on that ball. Dust sending it over to Golden, who slams this off of the back wall. Very ping-pong play so far, Lars. It's been, we've only seen about 40 seconds of gameplay here, but I'm already starting to see gameplay characteristics that are very similar to that of the South American Rocket League teams. Neither team is too worried about maintaining possession too much. It's more just kind of dump the ball up and hope that a teammate is in the right position to take advantage.
Well, we actually mentioned the South American region in this last series. Leachy and I have a South American connection. I'll leave it to you guys to figure out what it is. But you're absolutely right. We got a lot of ping pong here, and that kind of dump and chase play style, it is very endemic to this divergence level of gameplay where teams like to favor that just send it and follow it up like with an opportunity. One thing I have liked to see as Lunacy is dead picks one up, I like to see that, and I'll get back to what I was talking about later.
Pops this one up. Brodell couldn't get the touch. Dust and Zona play. Look at that. Parting the Red Sea. They're like, Lunacy screamed for that. And they were like, okay, we got it. Diving out of the way. And Lunacy has the way totally cleared to knock that one in, knowing that his teammates were properly positioned should that attempt have failed, which it did not. And FSU does have the lead, if only for a couple seconds, because Diversity has been busy tying it back up.
That was good play from Lunacy there to keep that one close, but it's a better challenge to get that one off the wall and back in. That's a dangerous position to be in as a defender because there's only one way you can win a 50 that you don't get punished, and that is directly straight up the field. 50 to the wall, it pops back to center. 50 to center, well, it's center, or 50 to net, and now it's in the net. So you really need to have absolute positive control to make that work. Unfortunately for Lunacy and FSU, they don't, and we get tied back up just past 90 seconds here to go.
Lunacy sending it long. Golden turning around on that back wall. Risky play, but knew that he had the control to do it. No, Dust missing just slightly wide of that right-hand post. We'll want that chance back again. Golden, I think it was Golden and maybe it was Brodell just kind of fighting for the opportunity to take that one. Golden wound up snagging it. Diversity missing short again. This game, man, if had shots been about 7 pixels to either side, this would be like a 4-3 game. But as it stands, we're about 15 seconds away from halftime. It's still 1-1.
Well, speaking of being one side or the other, something we saw a lot of in that last series was a little bit of poor spacing management. That's not what we're seeing here. Both of these teams doing a very good job of managing their spacing on their field, not getting too crowded, but not letting their players play alone and not being involved at all. The one thing we need to see them do a little bit better job of is take advantage of that spacing to maintain control of the ball and make team efforts, make controlled plays towards the opponent's net.
Zonum, bit of a breakaway, but zero boost. Kind of has to bail on this play almost as quickly as it started. Brodell up off that sidewall. Dust. Oh, wow! I thought he flipped way too early for that, and the ball just kind of magnetized toward. Are we playing Rumble right now? The fact that he managed to get that stop absolutely ridiculous. And now a temporary advantage. Brodell's getting up, but not as quickly as Zonum did. And the ball being sent all the way back into the FSU half. Golden keeping the pressure on. Lunacy sending this clear. Diversity looking to catch. Oh, the fake there. Still needed a little bit of a 50 to get past it, but skills like that in the Emergence Division are not to be taken for granted. That was brilliant. As we get to the 90-second mark, Lars, we are still tied 1-1.
You know how I feel about 90 seconds, but it's not the case here, 1-1. This is kind of getting into golden goal territory where the next goal could very well be the decider going forward, and we're getting good defensive effort. Nice little pass back and forth, KWU there. Getting them clear, but unfortunately they don't get it clear of the zone, just clear the shooting lane. That's so important, is just getting that out of the shooting lane to open up opportunities, kind of fatigue the offense. Don't allow them to take advantage of that and then turn it back the other way.
Breakaway for FSU. Dust facing off against Diversity, who kind of gets a partial clearance, but more importantly does get the demo on the opponent. Dust chasing this with no boost. Brodell sends it into his corner safely for Golden to deal with. Passing it mid. Oh, does technically get a double tap, but not super productive as the ball just kind of fell backwards towards the opposite direction of the goal. Off the side now. Dust beating Brodell. Coming in, a triple commit from FSU Maroon. Luckily for them, it wasn't super damaging because KWU were not able to get themselves organized enough to mount a counterattack. Golden. Now Zonum actually sends it out mid. This one's high. Bouncing around. Diversity sends this one clear. Lars, are we about to see the first overtime of this series? Wow! Diversity, what a save there at the near post by Lunacy is dead. Surely feels like he's shooting against a brick wall now. I cannot believe that the scoreline is still 1-1, and we will have our first overtime.
Wow, first overtime of this series. Not the first overtime of the night. Earlier tonight, we had one series that involved 2 5-minute-plus overtimes.
Oh, my Lord.
I don't know if my heart could handle that. Just that last little shooting opportunity down there off the post was enough of a roller coaster for me. But now, as we get some pressure down the field, that's at the top from Lunacy, finds their second of the match, and that is the golden goal to finish it off.
Slightly concerning disorganization there from Kansas Wesleyan. They were just kind of jumping up and down, pogoing, trying to get to the ball, waiting for something to happen, waiting for another teammate to get the ball clear. And then Golden realized that he needed to be the one to do it. And the touch that he got just wasn't quite good enough. And FSU only needed 14 seconds of overtime to put this one away. But I don't think that this overtime victory says anything about any kind of a skill gap between these two teams. This was about as even as you could possibly ask for. The only standout player, in my opinion, was Lunacy, head and shoulders above everybody else on the scoreboard in terms of points. Maybe that came from the fact that he had a save and 2 goals from 3 shots. But apart from that, this is a really tight contest. I wouldn't be surprised to see this go all the way to Game 5.
Yeah, you can't look at an overtime goal and say, oh, yeah, that team absolutely ran away with it, because an overtime goal, it's golden goal. It could come off of a simple slip up, a one-time opportunity, just some kind of freak accident. Here, no freak accident, though. KW is able to get that ball clear of the shooting lane. I talk about it again and again and again. I will harp on this till the end of my days. It's not enough to save the ball. You have to clear the shooting lane. And unfortunately, Kansas Wesleyan doesn't clear the shooting lane. They get punished for it with that follow-up from FSU. But like you said, this is a super even matchup. Both these teams looking for pass plays. Both these teams managing spacing on the field very well. Like to see a little bit more contain, a little bit less ping-pong. Get some repeated attack down on the net and fatigue your opponents out, starve that boost out, and then find an advantage there. Also attack that back wall. We've seen some opportunities open up on the back wall. I think that could be a good place to try to look. Just got to get it all the way down there first. As this one... Speaking of all the way down, zone him on the kickoff.
That's not how I wanted this to start. Brodell quite simply getting beaten to the ball, and neither of his teammates in a good enough position to deal with it. You saw them. It was almost like that goal explosion where it sucks you in and then throws you off the map. They were racing to be the first one to the ball, and neither of them won that competition. So FSU Maroon with a 1-goal lead here super early on in game number 2. I wonder how long they're going to hold on to it. You feel like that could, with how close these two teams have been, I know it's only game one, but that's all we've got to go off of. How close it's been so far throughout the series, a mistake like that may be the deciding factor between these two teams. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a 1-goal game in favor of FSU Maroon, given how close these two teams are.
Oh, absolutely. Golden goal in the last matchup, and you allow a goal to just walk home on the first kickoff of the game. It would be heartbreaking if you are Kansas to see that be the deciding factor in this matchup, but it's not unexpected at all, just like you were saying. You need to keep this one close. If you are Kansas, I think you want to get 2 goals in the next 2 minutes or so, try to find an opportunity, open up a lead, and then you could start to try to pry that open once you have your foot in the door.
Personally, if I was Kansas, I'd probably be trying to get 7 goals in the next 30 seconds, but I don't know. That's just me. That'd be my preferred strategy. Is that asking too much? I don't know.
Actually, when I play Rocket League, I prefer to get as many goals out of every single kickoff, just win every single one and get goals. And that's typically, if you score more goals than your opponent, you're going to pick up a victory here. And so far, FSU has found a way to do that. But here's a shooting opportunity. Beautiful pass down. We're tied with Kansas finding that one.
Golden finding this one off that sidewall, a great kind of half volley off that sidewall, and then Diversity, just enough of a change of trajectory there on the ball to fool the onrushing defender. Tied up. 3:21 left on the clock. We are back even. Now, if my prediction is to hold true, FSU Maroon are going to score one. And the second the words leave my mouth, Golden makes it 2-1 to Kansas Wesleyan. I am loving this series so far. I'll tell you what I'm not loving is the crowding in the goal from FSU Maroon.
Leachy, you gotta stop calling out goal scoring opportunities, because every time you do, there's something tight. That one off the post, not quite there. But that is something that we are seeing open up a little bit as the pace picks up. You're going to see these teams start to double commit, start to crowd each other a little bit, because you get less time to calm, less time to sit and think about what you want to do. You do need to crank that pace, but you have to be very careful about how you do it.
Golden picking up the boost. Not able to make anything happen there as Lunacy took it away from him. Oh, Diversity on the solo dribble play, but Zonum stands up tall. Great stop. Golden sending it into the corner to keep the pressure on for Kansas Wesleyan. To the opposite corner now by Brodell. Lunacy trying to shepherd this to safety, but needs the help of Zonum to get just that done. Lunacy missing this one. Golden will come off relatively safely off of the back wall, but if that shot had any more spice on it, Zonum may have been able to tie this one back up. As it stands, we're just about at the 2-minute mark. Could it be 3? No! Well done. I think Lunacy just kind of crammed himself at the right spot at the right time. It doesn't matter because mere seconds later, Brodell winds up widening the gap to 2. It's 3-1 in favor of Kansas Wesleyan.
That's a great pass to center off of Golden there, reading that one and getting that one out in the mid, kind of near the top of the box there. It's a good place to put that. When you roll it down through the corner along the wall, it becomes much easier to defend because you have fewer options of where you can put that ball. Popping it out of the mid there, it forces the defense to respond, forces them to come out of net. And if they don't come out of net, you get to pick your spot on that shot.
Diversity with the banger, waiting for this one to roll down off the backboard. No, it's a waterfall. Wasn't ready for that setup. Brodell, yet another one, waiting for the third teammate. Golden comes in, but it gets sent away by Dust. Oh, Golden, however, has time to just turn on it and make it 4-1. I think part of this had to do with the fact that there was a demo in the backfield.
Yeah, demo in the backfield throws a little bit of confusion on the side of FSU, and it's something you see a lot of. It's kind of the new meta I've been noticing, is that one player sitting back post and then one player sort of near post and the third player attacking the ball. And what ends up happening there is if you can find a way, just like Kansas did here, get rid of that back post player, it leaves nobody in a position to cut back to net and try to find an opportunity. And you can just drive them home. As soon as you get it past that last player, it's easy goals, just like you see there. FSU, it's not a bad strategy in defense. That's a big save to keep that one out. But it is vulnerable to those things.
Golden. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, he did miss. Brodell coming in. Can't sneak. Well, did technically sneak it under the defender. Dust. Wow, a nice flick. Has a teammate up in Lunacy, but doesn't use him because he's just going to shoot a cannon and bring it back within 2. It's not impossible, but FSU are going to have to work twice as hard to bring this back within the span of the next 66 seconds.
Yeah, I like to see that shot, out of FSU. It was well set up. Dust being very patient on that. For a second, I thought maybe they're out of boost as they slowed down on that ball. But no, as some of you may know, if you wait for the ball to bounce, you get much more power on your touch. Dust, very patient, recognizing where the opponent's on their field, recognizing they have time to allow the ball to bounce, and then banging one over the top to get this one within 2.
Diversity was super close on that play, trying to take advantage. Unfortunately, so were the defenders. Brodell missing slightly to the left. Golden has been so dangerous on the ball. Not able to make anything happen there. Final 30 seconds in game number 2. Kansas Wesleyan looking like the more comfortable selves that we were expecting them to be. I will say it's not, again, I feel like I'm overshadowing a little bit the fact that game 1 did or was taken in overtime by FSU Maroon. So this is, by no means a, I don't know, some kind of unexpected result. Zonum waiting for this one to come down. Lunacy sends it long. Golden keeping it up, but it won't change the end result. Ball finally hits the ground. Kansas Wesleyan taking game number 2. I'm sure feeling like much closer to themselves. And look at that stifling shot total. 14 for Kansas Wesleyan, going up against just 2 for FSU Maroon. If you don't get as many shots on goal as your opponent, chances are you are going to be outscored by them. Yes, technically, the shooting accuracy for FSU was 100%, 2 shots, 2 goals. But if it's 2 shots to a total of 14, something's got to change.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is, let's just talk about Kansas for a second, what they did well, and it was the contain at the midfield. They did an awesome job finding a way to get follow-up attacks, to get on that net again and again and again, and not allow FSU to clear down the field and attack their own net. As you just talked about, the shot totals are absolutely evidence of that. I don't think that ball ever spent any real threatening time down in KWU's end. To the credit of FSU, something that a lot of teams, especially in this kind of emergence division, struggle with is backboard defense. It can be very difficult to learn. It's very awkward. There's not a good training pack you can go pick up and try to learn from it. You just have to pick it up with time and experience in the game. FSU did an excellent job defending the backboard. KWU, just didn't need it. They managed to get those infield passes, and we need to see FSU get further upfield with that aggression.
Game 3, tied 1 apiece, and probably won't be that way for very long if this 6-second goal timer is anything to go by. Brodell not wasting any time here in Game 3.
Yeah, as soon as I get done giving credit to FSU on the backboard defense, it's a defensive miscue on the backboard that allows that opportunity to open up on the back end, and it's a quick start to the advantage of Kansas.
Lunacy pinching it off of the back wall. Diversity sending it clear. Intelligent play. I gotta say, yes, you could look at it as like a pass to nobody, but on the other side, it's kind of a method of relieving pressure for both teams. You're giving your opponents a chance to reset, but I would say more importantly, you're giving yourself a chance to reset so that you can come at it with a fresh perspective and probably a fuller tank of boost. Brodell coming in, but won't beat Lunacy to that shot. This one sent across that midfield line. Wide open. Golden will get this goal number 2. FSU were playing with fire being that far up the pitch.
And that is, again, where we see Kansas do a very good job. It's this midfield play, and at this point, taking advantage of the fact that all 3 players from FSU are upfield. They're all trying to make that challenge a full court press. And unfortunately for them, they get burned on the backside. It's a good, accurate shot all the way down, and just no one able to get back in time.
Bouncing high. Oh, Zona missing contact. Dust won't. Over to Golden, who sends it back down the other way. Has another touch. Are you kidding me? Using all the boost he possibly can. It's turning into the Golden show right now. What an attempt.
Wow, it's a great recovery out of Golden to get back to that one after kind of an awkward launch. A good touchdown field, but it took them off course. Plenty of boost in the tank. Get back to that one. Touch it home, and right now, Kansas is absolutely running away with this matchup. If you are FSU, you need to get a goal, and you need to get one fast before this gets down to that 90-second crunch time.
Rodell out of the corner. Missing contact. Kind of misjudged that one. Whoa. Diving side flip there from Golden to keep that one out. Diversity. Maintaining possession excellently as well. Oh, risky from Brodell, but Golden is there. If not to challenge it, at least to make sure that the ball doesn't become any more dangerous than it already was. Dust, no shooting opportunity. Couldn't find contact, rather. Off that back wall, Brodell looking to catch. Does so well, but loses possession in the process. Ball going to Golden. Can Kansas Wesleyan University make anything happen? Golden, wow. Are you kidding me? This man has no right to be in this league. What is going on?
Goodness. Golden, just absolute control of that ball. We've talked about it a lot here tonight already. It's all about how you can control the ball. The two big words, two big I'm not going to say that. Two big words here in Rocket League and how you win series, how you win championships. Control and consistency. It's not about blindly pushing that ball towards the net, and it's not about hammering it back and forth and getting big one-off plays. The team that can control the ball better and do it on a consistent basis is going to walk away with the victory. Golden, on their own, doing an excellent job of exhibiting those properties.
3 shots, 2 saves. Or I'm sorry, 3 goals from 5 shots and 2 saves. None of these goals assisted either. Brodell did have 1 to his name, but I mean, Golden has just been banging them in, and you wonder if maybe this is starting to get. I don't know if this is like a more untenable play style, because if FSU is able to wake up and figure out that Golden is the #1 player to shut down, then maybe FSU has a chance here because they'll be able to kind of adjust after having neutralized one of the players. But right now, you know, Wesleyan are playing so lights out that I feel like that the hopes of that happening here in Game 3, I won't say long gone, but the chances of them happening are very slim. And I feel like this is a Game 4 game style approach that you need to adopt, because right now Game 3 is I mean, if Wesleyan haven't stamped their authority on this match by now, we're about 140 seconds away. I'm sorry, a minute 40 seconds away from seeing them do just that.
Well, the good news here for FSU, and something that we need to see them advance a little bit more, is they're getting the ball down the field, and they haven't been scored on in a while. It's not great to say, hey, you didn't get scored on, but as opposed to that first 90 seconds or so of this matchup, that's a huge improvement. Now they need to continue to advance that agenda further down the field. They're getting off their back wall, they're getting out of their own zone, but they're still allowing KW to have space to make plays. That one's off the crossbar. Very dangerous opportunity, but they're giving KWU space to make plays, to pick up opportunities, and to put them all the way down from midfield.
Oh boy, diversity. Felt like getting on the scoreboard, so let's just slam a half-court banger. Was definitely assisted by the fact that FSU were kind of slightly out of sorts on defense, and everybody just kind of in the middle of the transitional phase of their rotation, so not able to be where they needed to be. Yeah, this game, at this point, Lars, this is very much like it's time to look at what to change for game number 4 as goal number 6 comes in for Brodell. It's time to look at what can change for game 4, because you need to come at this with a mentality that is going to last an entire 5 minutes, not just the final 50 seconds of a game 3 where quite simply you're being drowned in.
Yeah, it's not technically impossible for a comeback to happen at this point, but as you well know, the more players on the field, the less likely big swings and points happen. In ones, 6 goals in 36 seconds, I'm not writing that off at all. In 3s, this is game over, and like you said, now you're looking towards game number 4. You're trying to get a kind of a mental reset here. Talk about a lot the kind of psychology of Rocket League and the mental game. I know in week number 1, a couple of post-game player interviews, the message was the same from everybody we talked to. Very dominant, very, very good players. it was always the same message. It's all in the mental game. Everything we do here is all in the mental game. And maybe Lunacy can find one here for the road at the end. It doesn't get the flick over top. Golden takes that one away. Would have loved to have seen some momentum not get shut out here at the end of game number 3.
You almost said 2, didn't you?
Almost.
I heard it. It was you were so close. Oh boy, Kansas Wesleyan. A storming performance, and quite honestly, not much. I don't have much else to say about it. They simply outclassed FSU. The good thing is for FSU, Maroon, this is game 4, and you know exactly where I'm going with this, but I've gotten better at zipping this up and making it faster. Game 4, in my opinion, is where you truly see what these players are made of. KWU are 1 game away from putting this to bed and going home early. FSU Maroon are 1 game away from shattering Kansas Wesleyan's confidence and sending them to game 5, and all of a sudden bringing both of them to level pegging while giving themselves being FSU, the momentum advantage of having won the previous game. So this is where, in my opinion, the real heroes are made. If FSU is able to make waves in this coming game 4, then I think they have a very good shot of taking the entire series.
So I have to comment on a couple of things here. I can't let you get away with it. You said you've done a better job wrapping it up quicker, and by saying that you've extended it out longer, and then took the whole intermission to say it. And now, because I have to call you out on it, that's going to take even more time. I do want to point out, though, FSU is the first team to take a game off of Kansas this season. So that is definitely something to hang your hat on. And we have another fresh 5 minutes on the clock. No goals yet. If you can find a way to get a lead here in game number 4, get out to the advantage in favor of FSU, then it just becomes about holding on to it, putting that pressure down on Kansas. I'd like to see them pick up a couple of goals here early and then just lay on the gas and hammer it home.
Honestly, what I meant was that I got better at saying it without stuttering. So, are you happy? Golden! 36 seconds in from just about as high as you could possibly hit a ball, using the ceiling to his advantage, bar down no less. Dust must surely have felt robbed there because he was in just about the perfect position, and then the crossbar plays folly to the best laid plan. So, KWU yet again with an early lead in game number 4.
Well, it's dangerous territory for FSU. Like I said, we needed to see them get a lead and then hold on to it. But 1 goal is not something they can't undo. We see a big play here, open up the floodgates in favor of FSU. It'd be just wonders for confidence. But at this point, at least 7 unanswered to the favor of KWU over the last 2 games. You got to find some momentum. You have to find a way to shut down this KWU team.
Yeah, that's definitely a stat that you want to keep out of your mind. If any players are currently listening to the broadcast right now, shut it off because Lars is not doing any wonders for your confidence. Lunacy. Oh no, Diversity missing this one. There was a brief opportunity for FSU Maroon to take advantage, but everybody was kind of, too cautiously set back. There, they will finally grab one. Lunacy ties it up just past the 90-second mark.
This is more of what we needed to see out of FSU. They're getting a little more aggressive. They're being a little more eager to jump in the face of KWU, get up there and not allow them to make plays, not allow them to pass, not allow them to control mechanically, force them to 50 their way up the field, and it gives you opportunities to do exactly like you see there for Fresno State.
Off the backboard. Oh! What just happened? Golden is going to get this one, but I think there was some physical play on the goal line.
There's the physical play from the shot that set that one up, Diversity bumping Dust and then catching them on the rebound there as well. And the other thing I would like to know is, Golden, at the end of this matchup, if you could go ahead and DM me the Venmo for the crossbar, so I go ahead and get in on some of that action, that'd be very helpful. Thank you.
Would it now? Would it now? Golden out mid. What a pass over to Diversity. I will say Diversity took his sweet time getting to that ball and was probably rightfully punished for it. Has the ball taken away from him. Lunacy Not quite the right angle to drop that one down, and Golden is able to shepherd it to safety off that back wall. Doing his best Spider-Man impression. Zonum waiting for this pass from Dust, but not enough power on it. Sent out mid. Brodell will take this away from Golden. Up high. Diversity, coming in a great send out to the right side from Lunacy. Dust waiting on the back wall yet again, coming in. Surely Kansas player in the form of Golden. Who else was it going to be? 7 seconds past halftime. Golden extends the lead to 2.
Golden is such a fitting name for this player right now. Absolutely cracked, dominating up and down the field. Ate a little bit there by Zonum. I think a little bit of a feels flip, trying to get up to that ball quickly. Doesn't find a way to get out there and touch that one away. I like that FSU has found a way. They haven't derailed the Kansas train, but they found a way to kind of put the brakes on, slow them down a little bit. They need to get it off the tracks, though, as Golden gets another, but it's off the post. What a save by Dust.
Up high, Diversity catches this one. Honestly, doesn't even need to exhibit any sense of urgency. You might as well go for the patient play. Golden isn't wasting any time. Maybe a bit of a mentality mismatch between these players, but it doesn't matter because they've got the 2-goal lead. So you have a little bit of cushion to play with, not too much. Rabid soccer fans will tell you the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous one to have in terms of a mentality aspect. I don't know if I quite subscribe to that one, but be that as it may, Lunacy, trying to make this dangerous. And Zonum just missing this one. Brodell getting bumped all the way down into actually quite a pretty good position to receive a pass, and then just kind of misses this one. Golden, a shot just wide of the target. You can never take those ones for granted. Diversity coming in, and Golden has rotated all the way out. So that pressure dries up for Kansas Wesleyan.
This is... I had a whole thought, and now it's all gone by the wayside, unfortunately.
That one's up high yet again. Dust has this stolen away by Diversity. Golden tries the most ridiculous of angles to get that one in, but it won't work. Dust on 0 boost, has to commit to something, goes for not the most powerful of shots. Golden's up. Looking for a block here. Doesn't quite read that correctly. Didn't get the power adjusted for in the proper manner. Diversity looking for the bump. Nothing happened there. Golden off this sidewall, has it drop down. 0 boost, but will try to get in the way. Doesn't make contact. Final 20 or so seconds here. FSU are going to need nothing short of a miracle. And every second that ticks off of the clock is a second less that they have to bring back some semblance of glory. Diversity sends this long, and surely this is over. He will put in number 4. Lars, this series is done and dusted.
Well, I remember what I wanted to say before I got absolutely scrambled going through that last little throw, and that is when you have a team like Kansas, these players are very mechanical. They're very confident on their feet. When they get that lead, it allows them to play more comfortably, more mechanical, more comfortable, and that's exactly the thing you don't need on a team like this. When they get that comfort level, they're able to play like that. They're going to continue to widen that gap, just like we see here. Kansas takes this series in 4. Good news to Fresno is they are the only team to have taken a game off of Kansas. And in the Emergence Division, that's going to be a big, big note against a team like Kansas.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the small beam of light that they can draw from this general cave of darkness being beaten relatively comfortably by Kansas Wesleyan. They have that to hang their hats on, and as they go on throughout the rest of the season, hopefully this can in some way be some kind of a tie-breaking stat for them, because we don't expect, I mean, from the performance that we saw here from Kansas, we don't expect too many other teams to put up that great of a fight against Kansas Wesleyan. So the fact that FSU Maroon were able to get one game off of them, I hope for their sake, and I'm crossing my fingers for it, is able to serve as some kind of a tie-breaking stat for them that may make the difference between you know, sticking in playoffs and going home early. So we'll have to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah. Well, before we can see the rest of the season, it costs money to do this. So we got to make sure we show some love to the people that show us love, and make sure you do too. Speaking of the people that show us love, Meta Pro Gaming. Meta Pro Gaming is a full-service esports management, developmental, and consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Visit them at metaprogaming.gg to learn more. If you need to get some coaching, some equipment, whatever it is, Meta are the people to check out. And I think we could all use a little bit of help and a little bit of coaching and all of those good things. So make sure you give them a look.
Ain't that right? This show is also brought to you, ladies and gentlemen, by Respawn. Respawn products are forged for all-day comfort for content creators, professional and casual players, or anyone looking to upgrade their setup. Respawn has been battle-tested and achieves a level of comfort that leaves competitors in the dust. Live to play another day with Respawn, your battle-ready partner. I love that tagline. That is so badass. I'm in love with these ad reads. I couldn't be happier.
I was just about to say, as you well know from our pre-match discussion, that is one of my favorites ever, the whole Respawn bit that we have here. Speaking of favorites ever, Golden from Kansas Wesleyan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. It was a lot of fun watching you guys play in that last series. Golden, game number 1, what happened?
Game 1 kind of came out shaky. We didn't quite understand what we were playing against. And then we kind of settled down later on, and then we figured out what we had to do, and we got the win.
Well, it definitely felt like as time went on, you guys got more comfortable, and as you got more comfortable, you got more dominant. You were a very big offensive player throughout that series. Is that typical for your play style, or does it kind of shift between your teammates and yourself?
Kind of shifts between the teammates, honestly, kind of how we're feeling. Diversity is very good on the ground, and we sometimes let him be that ground guy. I'm the aerial guy. Brody's a very good filler. He gets us that open lane and gets us that ball in the center, and we take advantage of that.
Oh, you definitely see those center lane shots were deadly, especially from you, Golden, in particular.
Golden, I've got to say, it was interesting to hear you say in the first answer that you said you didn't know what you were playing against. So I want to ask you, was the rest of the series, given that you just kind of sweat through the next 3 games, was the rest of the series down to you guys adjusting to your opponents, or was it more that you just kind of got more comfortable playing your own play style?
So we definitely use that first game to understand our opponent. We always use that first game to understand what we're going up against. Definitely every game after that was we knew what we were going against, so we knew what to do and how to counter it.
And my last question is, will you be keeping a tally of how many double taps you hit on stream, and if not, why?
Well, I'll now that you mention it, probably not, honestly.
Damn. I wasn't expecting an honest answer. Don't worry about that.
Well, Leachy's over here trying to put people on the spot as always. But this has been a fantastic series. You're a lot of fun to watch, Golden. Thank you for stopping by, sharing your thoughts with us here in the casting booth.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Well, that was Golden that you just heard on the voice here. Golden obviously had a huge series there, being an offensive monster and just absolutely dominating that back wall, that crossbar. It was wonderful to see. But we have, believe it or not, more Rocket League action for you coming up. I'm going to be hopping off here. I have been Lars Dude, your color commentator. You're stuck with Leachy for another series. I'm sorry, but you're going to want to stick around despite Leachy still being here to watch some exciting Rocket League action. Boise State Orange versus UC Davis up right after this break.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.